Biafrans all over the world, you are welcome to Mobin Media International, transmitting from Biafra land. This is your friend and brother, evangelist, Dr. Joseph Nnemeka, Director of Political Education and Governance, Movement of Biafrans in Nigeria, Mobin, the Political Educators, Senior Lecturer, Department of Philosophy and Religion, Ebonyi State University, Abakaliki, Nigeria. You are welcome to our Thursday tonic, Mobin Media International, where we educate you on the right path to follow if we must get the Biafran struggle activated and achieved and actualized. I remember that in 20 years ago, a movement for the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra was activated, led by Chief Ralph Wazirike. 20 years later, have we actualized it? No, we have not. I even believe that we have not even started doing what is right. We are just starting to do what is right. Because if we continue on this path that we are going, till the year 3000, we'll still remain where we are. And so, now that we have introduced ourselves and looked at the imperative for integrity, righteousness, and boldness in our struggle, it is now time for us to get into the real deal. And what's the real deal? The real deal is that the political is inevitable. I repeat, the political is inevitable. The only thing that you can say will be first before the political is the spiritual. And we discussed part of it last week. We are here today to remind us what has kept our head where it is because we have left our political space in the hands of people who do not care about our land. Last time I told you about the German philosopher called Bertolt Brecht, who said that the worst illiterate is the political illiterate. He says, I hate politics. He does not realize that from his political non-participation comes the prostitutes, comes the price of beans, comes the destitute, and eventually corruption in our land, unquote. That is Bertolt Brecht. And every day when I look at what is happening in Biafra land, I just find out that that is what has kept us where we are. The fact that we have failed to take cognizance that we need political power to be able to get to where we ought and where we need to be. Power. The Bible says in Psalm 62 verse 11, once has God spoken, twice have I heard it, that power belongs to God. And because power belongs to God, it now gives it to men to exercise. God will never come from heaven to exercise political power here. No. Men must arise, women must arise to take charge of that power and use it for the benefit of those whom he has vowed to use it to serve. Power is service. Somebody says that statesmen think about the next generation, but politicians think about the next generation. How do we, that's what Mobin is asking today, how do we get men who are both statesmen, men and women who are both statesmen and who are politicians, who will think about both the next election and the next generation? It is important for us to understand that it is lack of political power that has kept Biafra land where it is. Why is Port Harcourt Port not working? Political power. Why is Bonny Port in comatose? Political power. Why is the Bonny Port and the Opobo Port out? Why are we all going to Lagos? Political power. I want to remind you that Nigeria began as a federation. In 1950, the founders of Nigeria used 10 years to negotiate for a federation. Because they knew that Nigeria either survives as a federation or it will not survive at all. So, the Nnamdi Azikiwes, the Herbert Macaulays, the Awolowas, the Ahmadu Bellos, they took time, knowing fully well that Nigeria is a conglomeration, is a combination, a collection of people who are culturally distinct, religiously separate, traditionally different, environment, everything about us are different. And so they felt, even the man who was to become prime minister in 1960 said it 12 years before, in 1948, after a budget defense in the Nigerian Legislative Council in 1948. Sir Ahmadu Bello, who was representing Northern People's Congress, came out and said something. He said, all of you journalists who always say that Nigeria is one country, you are wrong. Because Nigeria is not one country. Nigerian unity ends outside these chambers. And all you Southerners that are now pouring into the North, do not mix with the Northerners. And we the Northerners do not mix with them. In fact, we Northerners regard them as invaders, unquote. The man who said Nigerian unity ends outside these chambers eventually became prime minister 12 years after. What do you think he's going to be thinking? That's why they said in 1942, holding this country together is not possible except by the religion of the prophets. If they want political unity, let them accept our religion. Northern Emirs, 1942. Why am I saying this? Nigeria came into existence at independence as a federation. Each federation was running its own affairs. That was why Awolowo was the first, created the first television station in Africa in 1959. Why? Because he was running the Western economy under the UPN, the Action Group government, and only paying tax to the center. We had palm produce in the east, we had granite pyramids in the north, and we had rubber in the Midwest. And everyone was developing according to its own pace. And then, January 15, 1966, the military struck, and everything went kaput. And in the name of the war with Biafra in 1969, Gowon changed the derivation formula to allocation. Politics. That's where I'm taking you to. A political decision. All of a sudden, the oil that is under my head crust now belongs to somebody called the federal government. Who is he? I don't know. The unfortunate thing is that Nigerians did not play a role in the amalgamation of 1914. If you read the statement of Lugard on January 1, 1914, you see where he said, His Majesty has decided that from today, so and so place, so and so, His Majesty, King George V, far away in Buckingham Palace, was the one that decided that Nnemeka Agbo and Haruna Mohammed with Eno and Adegoke, Ademolaku, and Agbonifo in the Middle Belt and in the Midwest with Tata will have to belong to one country, whether they like it or not. No problem. Under the movement of Biafrans in Nigeria, we believe that we are Nigerian citizens, but we are still Biafran indigenes, and there is nothing anybody can do about it. Everywhere I go for conferences, I introduce myself, I tell them, my name is Dr. Joseph Nnemeka Agbo, Ebonyi State University, Biafran citizen, trapped in Nigeria. That's the way I introduce myself. Why? because I didn't play a role. But no problem. Mobiners believe that we cannot slip into anarchy. And that's why we are saying we need to participate in what is happening in Nigeria. Because that is what the way the world has structured the system of world order. So we need to use legitimate means to extricate ourselves. So all in the name of the war with Biafra, Gowon just stood up and made a pronouncement. Allocation has now replaced derivation. By that time, the formula of sharing revenue was derivation. You derive and you pay tax to the center. But with one single decree number 69 of 1969, Gowon changed that policy and it now became allocation. So people sit in Abuja, they milk oil from Biafra land and they sit in Abuja to determine what will come to us, political power. Immediately after the war, there was also another indigenization policy, political power. They made sure that every Biafran who had money didn't get more than 20 pounds. In fact, somebody told me it was 19 they got because they took one pound each. That is for those who had accounts in the bank and who didn't operate it once during the war. If you operated it once, you will lose all the money there, even if it is millions. And many Biafrans lost money like that. Why? Political policy. They make one policy and you are off. We are the greatest importers. And yet they will make one policy and every money we have spent will go down the drain. Every money we have earned will go down the drain. The indigenization policy, after they have taken the money that belongs to the Biafrans, they now had what they call, they now use the same money to buy, they now nationalize corporations in Nigeria. So it is only those who had money that bought. Have you seen how we arrived where we are? And one political policy will change everything. If you refuse to participate, what you are saying is that anything they like, they can do. In 2006, Masop told us that we are not Nigerians, that we should not be counted. So when they finished the census, they allocated the figure the same way they allocate money to us, oil money. They allocated the figure to us in Biafra land, and they are even using that figure to send us allocation. Who is losing? In 2017, we were not told not to vote in Anambra election, that we are not Biafrans. That unless Nigeria gives us date for a referendum. And I laughed. Why did I laugh? I laughed at ignorance. Because nobody gives anybody a date for a referendum. We are going to talk about referendum in this series. I studied referendum from 1973 in Northern Ireland to 2011 South Sudan. And we'll look at how there is no people who want to have freedom, political freedom, that will not participate in the political affairs of the nation that they want to pass from. If they try to do that, they will be postponing their freedom. And that's what Mobin is saying. Do not. Mobin is a political platform. We believe in raising righteous men and women with integrity who will take over Biafra land. When Fayose was governor in Ekiti State, we are then not tackling him from Abuja the way they tackle our own governors, and they will begin to fret. I remember in 2017, I wanted to do 50 years after Biafra, which were in Igbo. And the governor of Ebonyi State came and sacked me from where I was hosting the program. Why? He said they made a call from Abuja. A call from Abuja. So we cannot even sit down inside a hall and discuss our affairs. What is happening? We have politicians who are holding allegiance to powers outside Biafra land. How can you say you want Biafra and the man who is in government house is not interested? You are postponing your doomsday. I mean, you are postponing your day of freedom and continuing your doomsday. How can you say you want Biafra and the person that is in government house as and the legislative house as speaker or members don't understand what you are talking about? I agree that it's not everything that we discuss on air. There are certain things we need to go inside and strategize and plan and stimulate and do and know how we are proceeding. But the truth is that unless we begin to take over the position in Biafra land politically, House of Assembly, state government, local governments, even the people who are councillors must be Biafrans. That way, we are now able to secure our territory. If you don't secure your territory, how far can you go? They will send you somebody. That's what I told them during that Anambra election. I said, Anambra election is an election to elect the governor. The House of Assembly is intact. So what do you want to achieve by not voting? I explain something again for you politically. We discuss, we operate what we call the presidential system, democracy, where it is simple majority. Assuming there are 2 million people in the constituency, and maybe 1.5 million people register to vote, and on the day of election, only 100,000 people comes out to cast their ballots, and only 30,000 votes for the winner. The winner will be announced. What do we have? We have a situation where out of 2 million people, only 100,000 decided to have political participation. And yet, only less 30,000 voted for the winner. Tomorrow, the moment that winner is sworn in, that winner will take decision over 2 million people. What is happening? You are suffering from the decision you took to excuse yourself. I didn't say you cannot excuse yourself. Go ahead, excuse yourself, but don't cry when things begin to turn bad. Because you abdicated, you abandoned, you left your political space for other people to take care of. And so the Mobin believes that it is because we have been running away. That's why the condition remains this way. Assuming 1.5 million people out of those 2 million people comes out and said, we must take a decision on who is going to go and represent us. Do you think they will do what they like? No, they won't. But because we said, the truth is that if on the day of election, where there are 2 million people and 10 people comes out to vote, and 6 people or 5 people vote for the winner, 2 people vote for the other one, 3 people vote and 1 person vote, that 5 will be announced. And you will take decision over 2 million. And there is nothing you can do about it. Is it not like somebody shooting, cocking a gun and shooting himself in the leg? That's what we have been doing over the years. And Mobin says, no, let's stop. Let's stop doing that. Let me cite this example for you. During the Second World War, when the war became very serious, and they began to develop the atomic bomb, Enrico Fermi, 3 Jews were instrumental to the development of the bomb. Heisenberg, a German Jew, Sakharov, a Russian Jew, Albert Einstein, an American Jew, and of course Enrico Fermi and the rest. The moment the bomb was ready, all the scientists, they have done their job. Everybody has said everybody have done what they need to do. How do we know about that bomb? It was a political decision. A man called Harry Truman, the president of the United States then in 1945, ordered that the bomb be dropped in Japan. So, on the 6th of August 1945, following the signature of Harry Truman, 3 planes left the United States. 1 carried the bomb. The bigger bomb is called Little Boy. The smaller bomb is called Fat Man. They carried the bomb and headed for Tokyo in Japan. Somehow they missed target and it ended up in Hiroshima. They dropped the bomb. The second plane measured the corrosive effect. The third plane photographed it. That's why we see it as a mushroom. August 9, the second bomb was dropped. August 10, Japan surrendered. The Second World War ended. But the point I'm making is that it took a political decision. It was a politician that ordered that the bomb be dropped in Hiroshima, be dropped in Japan. If there was no such authority, no such order, till today, the world will never know about the corrosive effect of the atomic bomb. Now, these days, we have what we call the nuclear bomb, the neuroton bomb, and they are 20 to 30 times more corrosive than atomic bomb. And that's why, because of that decision that Harry Truman took, the world knows within 3 days, 144,000 Japanese lay dead. And hundreds of thousands more died many years later. Why? A politician gave an order. Scientific investigation had to be examined by a political decision. In 1996, a scientist called Ian Wilmot cloned the ship Dolly. Cloning. And then in the year 2001, an American scientist called Richard Seed said he's going to use the Wilmot technology to clone 200,000 human beings a year. Bill Clinton heard it and signed, saying, not in my country. If a politician didn't stop it, Richard Seed would have gone ahead to start cloning human beings. What am I saying? If you abandon political power, you say you want to go and make money, go ahead, be making it. That's why in the North they understand it. They say power pass money. That's what they say in the North. Power pass money. That's why they spend all they have to get power. Because the moment you get power, just one policy, you can rubbish everything that anybody has done. Why? You are exercising power. Friends, Mobin is telling you, come, let us be part. If we all mobilize, all these people who are saying Biafra must be restored, you don't use mouth to restore Biafra. It's not mouth. I told you we are going to look at this. We are going to study every country that has come out, from Namibia to Zimbabwe. All these people that have South Sudan, Eritrea. We're going to look at how did they just be running around on the streets, or they are doing a radio program or television program or writing newspaper. And when they finish writing that, the thing they will ask is, what next? How did Czech and Slovak Republic, Czechoslovakia, how did it divide? How did Yugoslavia disintegrate? How did Kosovo come out of Serbia? These are things we will examine, we will look at it, and we'll see what is the problem that is taking place in Catalonia. Why is it they are not free? Why is it that Quebec cannot be free in France? Why is it that Scotland has not become independent in Britain? Why? We are going to be looking at it. You will see that political power is critical. Friends, the more we run away, the more we have ourselves to blame. And Mobin is saying, come. That is why we are sensitizing us. That's why we are trying to galvanize us, mobilize us, or if you like, Mobinize. What we're actually doing is mobilization. That's a new diction in English language. Mobilization. Mobilization. You can define mobilization as the process by which a people that want to be free will sensitize themselves, galvanize themselves, and mobilize themselves to participate politically so that they can receive freedom. Ah, that's wonderful. That's mobilization. Get it? And that's what we are trying to get. That's what we are trying to do. So that if we do not participate, if we listen to me, if we leave the Biafran space the way it is, if Abubakar Shakara or Boko Haram takes power today and goes to Abuja and takes power, you will see people from Biafra land who will mobilize to go and give him solidarity. Why? Because there are many people, all that they want is pecuniary interest. I'm speaking Igbo, pecuniary, money. They just want something that will enter their pocket. And when you give it to them, they don't mind. They will sell themselves. They will behave like Judas. You know, Judas' own is a worst case scenario. Many people go to church, they will carry the keyboard and sell, carry microphone and sell. But what Judas went behind and sold the pastor. That's what is happening to many of us. That's how it's happening. That is why they are taking over Biafra land in the name of grazing. Do we have more cattle than Brazil? Do we have more cattle than Holland? This is private business. Private. It does not add anything to Nigeria. It's like a bean sellers association at Ogbete. It's like a wood sellers association at Tejosho. So what is the special thing about it? They are now ravaging other people's crops, other people's farm. They are doing their own farm. Fine. That is farming, animal husbandry. But we are doing crop husbandry. So why would our own be destroyed? And our governors cannot take a firm decision because they want Abuja to hail them. They want Abuja. At the end of the day, you ask yourself, is this really a federation? There are things we need to begin. If we have people who are Biafra minded, we can take some decision and go to the court and contest it at the Supreme Court. The Constitution allows us to do that. We're going to be talking about Constitution in this series. We'll discuss our Constitution. We'll discuss the possibility of some of the things we can use it to do. Our Constitution is not the best. It was hoisted on us. I was told in secondary school that any document that tells a lie about its authorship is a lie, is a forgery. So that's why I always regard Nigerian Constitution as a forgery. Because it tells a lie in page 1. We the people. At UNGA, United Nations General Assembly, 2 years ago, Donald Trump said something. He said the most important words in the American Constitution are we the people. The most important words, we the people. Now, if our own we the people is a lie, then you now know where. But we're going to be discussing Constitution in this series. We're going to be discussing the fact that we can use this same Constitution as weak, as bad, as something that is hoisted on us, that is not our creation. Even though it is so, we can still, out of it, get out things with which we can get free. We're going to be discussing legalism in this series. We're going to be discussing all this because all that we are doing is to see how we can use politics, democracy, legalism, diplomacy to free ourselves. That's the whole thing we want to achieve. And so if we begin now, I have a problem because we are used to doing business. You buy and sell. You sell, buy tomorrow, sell tomorrow, you make 20 naira. It's not like that in the political. You plan it, you program yourself, you do it step by step. And at the end of the day, you will find out that you have drawn a program. It's not going to be a 100 miles dash. It's going to be a relay race. One person will hand over to the other, the other person will hand over to the other. Doze Ikedife is gone. Debo Ojukwu is gone. But the struggle must continue. That's why that's where they were part of the Supreme Council of Elders. You need to hand over batons. What I am doing and what we are doing in Mobin is that we want to live a better society for our children. We don't want our children to inherit this kind of society where we are in a democracy, yet we don't have freedom. We want to live a society where Biafrans will be free, either within Nigeria, the same way Scotland is free within Great Britain, the same way Catalan or Catalonia is free in Spain, running their own affairs and determining what, or outside Nigeria as a free, independent country. That's what Mobin is interested in doing. And that's what we are encouraging you to do. That's why we are encouraging you to come. Let us participate. Let's form a platform with which, if we form a mass movement, all of us who are on the streets, if all of us will come out and go inside and decide what we want and give people something, go and do this for us, go and do the other one for us. Tell me why we will not realize Biafra. Go and get this done. Go and get the other one done. If we didn't do it today, next tomorrow we can get it done. But the important thing is that we'll get it set it in motion, and let it keep moving. That's what Mobin is interested in. If you don't get political power, If you don't get political power, you'll be running around in circle, just like we have run around for 20 years. Plenty of motion, no movement. Plenty of motion, no movement. And that is why I encourage you, we have to get involved in the political struggle of Nigeria. We have to get involved in the, can't you see the Amazonian Republic in South Cameroon? It is their senators in the house that is making their statements. 5-minute statement made by a senator before the whole world is more important than 5 years demonstration on the street. Yes, after demonstrating, I didn't say we should not, but under this climb where we're operating, why do you go and throw away yourself to people who are looking for the fastest, quickest, and nearest opportunity to mow you down as if you are goats or as if you are lions in the forest? I'm telling you that there are places you can't even kill lion now. You will enter into trouble. In fact, you can go to jail just for killing a lion because he's among the endangered species. But here, we are more endangered, and we're endangering ourselves more by making noise and by marching around. They tell you to sit down, sit at home. If you sit at home from the now until the year 3000, what does it add to you? Nothing. It doesn't add. So stop doing things that will not add to this struggle. Get involved in the political participation of the Nigerian state. Let's engage them. That's what the politics of engagement. That's what we are going to engage Nigeria, engage the UN, engage the AU, engage ECOWAS, and then we will tell them that we understand. We cannot have the brightest brains. We cannot be the people that gave the world the father of the internet, and we are here being ruled by those whom we should rule over. Friends, politics is where power is exercised. If you can't exercise power outside political power. If you want political power, get involved in the political process. If you do that, whatever you do is legitimate. That's why the governor can sit in government house and make pronouncements. Don't go out, clean your house. If you come out, they will catch you. Why? An executive authority has made a pronouncement. I hope that you understand the point I am making. We are still going to talk about our current political leaders. How far have they gone? What have they done? What have they not been able to do? And how can we improve on what they have done? This is the only way we can get Biafra. And if we do that, the heaven, not just the sky, is our limit. It's your brother, again, your friend, your Mobinites, trying to mobilize other people globally. All over the world, I don't care where you are. Wherever you are, Mobin is prepared to meet you there. You can bring us. Gather yourself, 20,000, 20 million. We will come and address you. This matter is a global movement. God bless you. My name, once again, Evangelist Dr. Joseph Nnemeka Abu. I beat drums that generate awareness, liberating awareness. I am the Director of Political Education and Governance of the movement of Biafrans in Nigeria, Mobin, the political educators. And we must continue to educate ourselves. God bless you and see you next week.